The Wehrmacht anti-tank intelligence briefing that reached General Heinz Guderian's Armored Command headquarters in Berlin during March 1945 contained artillery statistics that seemed to defy every principle of precision gun manufacturing and anti-tank weapon capacity. The classified document claimed that American factories had produced over 250,000 anti-tank guns since Pearl Harbor, suggesting production capabilities that violated fundamental assumptions about precision artillery construction and wartime anti-tank manufacturing limitations. This is artillery propaganda designed to intimidate our panzer superiority. General Guderian declared to his tank commanders, studying reconnaissance photographs of American weapons plants that showed anti-tank gun production operations spanning entire industrial complexes. Anti-tank guns are precision artillery pieces requiring months of individual craftsmanship. No weapons industry possesses the manufacturing capacity to produce 250,000 precision anti-tank cannons. These Americans must be including training guns and captured equipment in their military artillery. Statistics: these were experienced German armored officers who understood anti-tank weapons through decades of precision engineering and systematic tank warfare that had created Europe's most sophisticated armored combat through systematic tactical development and technological excellence. The concept of mass-produced anti-tank guns seemed to violate fundamental principles of artillery manufacturing that demanded individual attention over assembly speed. They could not fathom they were witnessing the greatest anti-tank gun production achievement in artillery history, or that American factories would demonstrate how democratic industrial organization could manufacture precision cannons at rates that would overwhelm German armor superiority through unprecedented numerical superiority and continuous replacement capability that rendered individual tank excellence strategically vulnerable. General Heinz Guderian stood beside his command Tiger tank at Army Group Center headquarters, embodying German confidence in armored superiority through innovative panzer design and systematic tank warfare excellence. As architect of Blitzkrieg doctrine, Guderian represented German assumptions about armor quality triumphing over anti-tank quantity through superior technology, individual tank excellence, and professional armored warfare standards that had established German panzer dominance across European battlefields. German armored warfare doctrine that Guderian understood included meticulous tank engineering, individual attention to armor specifications, and systematic quality control that created superior armored vehicles through careful design and tactical optimization. German panzer forces operated tanks like precision military instruments rather than mass-produced vehicles, emphasizing technological excellence over numerical volume through specialized manufacturing approaches that prioritized individual tank perfection. The sophisticated armored vehicles that German military employed included advanced Tiger tanks, revolutionary Panther tanks, and specialized tank destroyers that represented pinnacle achievements in armored engineering through systematic development and combat experience. German engineering had solved complex mechanical challenges that produced tanks exceeding Allied capabilities through individual excellence and precision manufacturing that emphasized superior performance over numerical abundance. Intelligence analysis of Allied anti-tank weapons suggested enemy forces remained constrained by conventional artillery limitations, precision engineering requirements, and industrial bottlenecks that prevented massive anti-tank expansion. German tank planners calculated that Allied anti-tank gun production would require decades to threaten German armor capabilities while maintaining acceptable artillery performance standards through traditional manufacturing methods. Strategic doctrine that incorporated German armored advantages assumed technological superiority would enable continued tank dominance. Through superior vehicle performance and systematic crew training, democratic armies could allegedly never achieve rapid expansion and quantity-focused anti-tank approaches while maintaining individual artillery excellence that could challenge German armored superiority through precision engineering. Economic calculations performed by German armored economists revealed Allied industrial capacity divided between civilian manufacturing and limited military requirements, suggesting resource constraints that prevented total conversion to anti-tank artillery manufacturing. Steel allocation and skilled weapons. Technicians appeared insufficient for massive anti-tank gun production programs, requiring specialized engineering and precision. Manufacturing techniques, cultural assumptions about American anti-tank industrial organization suggested inefficient production methods and profit-motivated rather than strategically focused approaches that would prevent systematic military artillery manufacturing. German armored ideology characterized democratic industry as wasteful and disorganized compared to German systematic efficiency and specialized tank technological discipline that prioritized individual vehicle quality. Combat statistics from successful German panzer operations seem to validate German assumptions about armored warfare effectiveness and technological advantages over Allied anti-tank forces worldwide. German tank units had achieved remarkable success through superior armor performance and systematic crew training that appeared impossible for mass-produced enemy anti-tank guns to challenge. Through quantity alone, armored philosophy that German panzer forces emphasized included individual tank excellence, crew proficiency development, and systematic combat experience accumulation that created elite armored units through rigorous selection and professional advancement. German tank forces prioritized quality over quantity in both vehicles and personnel, reflecting confidence that superior individual performance would achieve victory through technological and armored advantages. Colonel Henry Knox, Army Ordnance Department Chief, walked through the sprawling Bethlehem steel facilities, observing revolutionary production techniques that would transform anti-tank gun manufacturing through industrial mass production methods adapted for military warfare. The military ordnance officer was applying innovative production expertise to sophisticated artillery construction with systematic efficiency that would fundamentally challenge German assumptions about anti-tank weapon manufacturing limitations. The 57mm anti-tank gun program that American industry developed represented complete departure from traditional artillery manufacturing that emphasized individual craftsmanship over systematic mass production for military operations. American anti-tank gun design prioritized penetration reliability, operational effectiveness, and assembly line production capability rather than technological sophistication alone, enabling manufacturing rates that completely exceeded German anti-tank industrial calculations and strategic planning assumptions. Assembly line techniques that Bethlehem Steel employed included revolutionary heavy industry production methods, systematically adapted for complex artillery manufacturing through organized workflow, standardized components, and continuous production that eliminated traditional anti-tank gun manufacturing bottlenecks. American industrial experience had created unprecedented manufacturing efficiency that surpassed specialized artillery production through civilian innovation applied to military anti-tank engineering. Workforce mobilization, supporting anti-tank gun production included revolutionary numbers of workers entering precision manufacturing while maintaining comprehensive training programs that created skilled personnel adequate for complex artillery assembly operations. Democratic educational systems produced abundant human resources through competitive instruction, merit-based advancement, and systematic anti-tank manufacturing skills development that exceeded traditional artillery production workforce limitations. Supply chain coordination across American anti-tank gun manufacturing included specialized steel delivery from multiple continental sources, artillery components from dedicated manufacturers, and thousands of precision parts from hundreds of suppliers whose production was synchronized through systematic logistics management. Materials coordination exceeded German organizational capabilities through democratic industrial cooperation and competitive resource allocation that enabled unprecedented anti-tank gun production rates. Quality control procedures ensured anti-tank gun reliability through systematic testing protocols, continuous inspection processes, and rigorous artillery performance validation that maintained anti-tank weapon effectiveness while enabling unprecedented mass production rates. American anti-tank gun manufacturing had achieved consistent quality through scientific methods rather than traditional individual craftsmanship attention, proving that systematic approaches could maintain artillery standards while enabling mass production. Innovation acceleration continued throughout anti-tank gun development as American engineers continuously improved artillery specifications while maintaining aggressive production schedules that traditional methods could never sustain. Competitive pressure encouraged rapid advancement that exceeded conventional anti-tank development cycles while ensuring manufacturing compatibility and sustained production capability that traditional approaches could never achieve. Strategic planning that incorporated massive anti-tank gun deployment included comprehensive artillery, tactical doctrine development, and operational coordination that would maximize anti-tank weapon effectiveness across global theaters. American military strategy integrated production advantages into comprehensive campaign planning that assumed virtually unlimited anti-tank gun availability and continuous artillery supply capability. Manufacturing excellence that anti-tank gun production achieved included penetration reliability, operational performance, and artillery effectiveness that exceeded traditional anti-tank weapon development while maintaining mass production compatibility. American industry had proven that systematic manufacturing could produce effective anti-tank guns without sacrificing performance, demonstrating democratic advantages in combining adequate technology with industrial abundance through competitive innovation. April 1945, German intelligence documentation of American anti-tank gun production revealed artillery statistics that challenged every fundamental assumption about cannon manufacturing and anti-tank industrial possibility worldwide. American factories were producing over 10,000 anti-tank guns monthly, while maintaining simultaneous production across dozens of facilities that collectively exceeded total German anti-tank weapon manufacturing capacity by incomprehensible margins that seemed mathematically impossible. Mathematical analysis that German anti-tank planners performed revealed American artillery production approaching 250,000 total units since Pearl Harbor, while German anti-tank gun production struggled to maintain 30,000 cannons across all weapons plants and facilities. Enemy industrial capabilities had achieved systematic abundance that completely violated traditional assumptions about precision anti-tank gun manufacturing complexity and specialized artillery engineering requirements. Statistical verification through multiple intelligence sources confirmed American anti-tank gun production that included standardized components, revolutionary assembly line manufacturing, and systematic quality control that enabled mathematically impossible production rates for artillery weapons. Enemy manufacturing had achieved unprecedented efficiency that exceeded German anti-tank weapon industrial organization through democratic competitive methods and civilian heavy industry expertise applied to military production. Photographic reconnaissance of American artillery facilities revealed production techniques that completely eliminated individual anti-tank craftsmanship in favor of systematic manufacturing approaches directly adapted from civilian heavy industry methods for military applications. Democratic Anti-Tank Weapon Industrial Organization had achieved military production through competitive rather than centralized authoritarian methods and systematic resource optimization. Economic calculations demonstrated American anti-tank gun expenditure that exceeded entire German artillery budgets, while simultaneously maintaining civilian, heavy industry production and comprehensive international assistance programs. Democratic capitalism had achieved resource abundance that centralized command economy methods could never duplicate through systematic efficiency and competitive innovation in anti-tank gun manufacturing that rendered German economic assumptions obsolete. Supply chain analysis revealed American anti-tank gun manufacturing coordinated across continental distances, with material flows that dramatically exceeded German logistical capabilities and organizational systems. Enemy industrial organization demonstrated systematic coordination that exceeded authoritarian central planning through competitive cooperation and democratic resource allocation methods in artillery production that achieved efficiency through civilian expertise. Technology assessment based on captured American anti-tank guns revealed manufacturing quality that maintained artillery effectiveness while being produced in quantities that German industry considered physically impossible without sacrificing performance specifications. Mass production had achieved consistent reliability through systematic scientific methods rather than individual attention and specialized approaches that characterized German anti-tank gun manufacturing philosophy. Performance analysis of recovered American artillery demonstrated that mass production had achieved penetration reliability, operational effectiveness, and anti-tank performance that proved adequate for warfare while being manufactured at impossible scales. Systematic engineering had proven effective in producing functional anti-tank guns through competitive innovation and scientific manufacturing approaches rather than traditional artillery craftsmanship. The statistical impossibility had become undeniable strategic reality that forced German acknowledgement of democratic advantages in anti-tank industrial organization that exceeded authoritarian alternatives through competitive efficiency and systematic abundance in artillery production, that would fundamentally alter armored warfare through anti-tank superiority rather than individual technological excellence. January 1945. The massive Allied defensive operations during German offensive attempts revealed devastating effectiveness of American anti-tank gun production as over 25,000 artillery pieces protected Allied positions while maintaining anti-tank reserves that exceeded German total artillery inventory. The mathematical superiority of American manufacturing had translated into overwhelming anti-tank dominance that rendered German armor philosophy strategically obsolete through systematic artillery abundance. Tactical deployment that American anti-tank gun abundance enabled included multiple defensive lines operating simultaneously across European theaters while maintaining artillery capabilities that German panzer forces had never encountered despite individual tank superiority and crew training advantages. American production had eliminated traditional anti-tank constraints through systematic abundance and continuous artillery supply that exceeded conventional armored warfare limitations. German tank commanders discovered combat situations where individual panzer superiority achieved minimal tactical advantage because American anti-tank strength exceeded German armor penetration through numerical abundance. Mathematical relationships had shifted decisively toward Allied defensive forces through manufacturing capacity rather than individual tank effectiveness or crew excellence that had characterized traditional armored warfare approaches throughout mechanized history. Combat statistics from sustained European armoured operations documented German tank losses that could not be replaced, while Allied defensive units maintained anti-tank strength through continuous artillery production and systematic anti-tank gun replacement programs. Artillery abundance had created tactical sustainability that exceeded German response possibilities and resource allocation capabilities through democratic anti-tank weapon organization. Intelligence analysis by German armor commands revealed American production capabilities that dramatically exceeded strategic planning assumptions, while demonstrating anti-tank organization that surpassed authoritarian efficiency through democratic competitive methods. Enemy capabilities had achieved systematic advantages that traditional armored forces could not anticipate or counter effectively through conventional tank tactics or armor penetration methods. Psychological impact on German tank crews included recognition that individual armored excellence could not guarantee survival when facing opponents with unlimited anti-tank gun capabilities and continuous artillery reinforcement. Tactical armor superiority had become strategically meaningless against American production abundance and systematic anti-tank gun deployment that exceeded traditional armored warfare mathematics through industrial superiority, operational advantages. That American anti-tank gun production provided included artillery availability, cannon replacement, and sustained defensive capability that maintained anti-armor effectiveness under extended campaigns across multiple theaters. Systematic anti-tank operations exceeded German capabilities, despite armor advantages and theoretically superior tank coordination lines through democratic manufacturing organization. Defensive capabilities that anti-tank gun abundance enabled included sustained defensive operations, continuous armor threat deterrence, and artillery flexibility that German panzer forces could never counter through individual tank excellence. American production had created operational sustainability that exceeded traditional anti-tank limitations through systematic abundance and artillery adequacy. The anti-tank gun wall demonstrated American artillery production had fundamentally altered armored warfare mathematics through anti-tank capabilities that rendered traditional tank superiority vulnerable when facing systematic abundance combined with adequate performance and continuous artillery supply capability that exceeded conventional armored limitations. May 8, 1945. As Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally following complete Allied anti-tank superiority, the final accounting of American artillery production revealed numbers that had redefined armored warfare. Over 250,000 anti-tank guns, manufactured through revolutionary assembly line methods that averaged 700 completed cannons daily at peak production, creating anti-tank capabilities that had overwhelmed German armor supremacy through unprecedented systematic abundance and continuous replacement. Strategic validation that American anti-tank gun production provided confirmed industrial mobilization as the decisive factor in modern armored warfare, while demonstrating democratic advantages in manufacturing organization, resource allocation, and technological application that exceeded totalitarian alternatives through competitive innovation and systematic efficiency optimization. Democratic anti-tank industrial organization had proven superior to authoritarian approaches through mathematical evidence that could not be disputed. General Guderian's post-war acknowledgement included recognition that German panzer supremacy had been strategically defeated by American production capabilities that exceeded every calculation of democratic industrial potential and anti-tank gun manufacturing capacity. Mass production manufacturing had rendered individual tank excellence strategically vulnerable, through overwhelming artillery superiority and coordinated anti-tank gun deployment that exceeded traditional armored warfare approaches. Economic efficiency that American anti-tank gun production achieved included dramatic cost reduction through volume manufacturing, while maintaining artillery effectiveness that exceeded traditional anti-tank weapon development methods. Competitive capitalism had proven systematically superior to command economy organization for sustained artillery production and technological advancement across global operations through democratic resource allocation and competitive innovation processes. International cooperation through American anti-tank gun deployment included comprehensive artillery transfers to allied forces that enhanced collective defensive capabilities while demonstrating American production capacity far beyond domestic requirements. Democratic values had created sustainable assistance through systematic anti-tank gun sharing and strategic generosity programs that exceeded traditional military alliance approaches through competitive manufacturing and resource abundance. Technological legacy of American anti-tank gun production influenced post-war artillery through revolutionary manufacturing techniques, systematic anti-tank principles, and scientific quality control methods that transformed global artillery production standards. Scientific advancement had created lasting advantages through systematic research and competitive innovation processes that exceeded traditional anti-tank approaches through civilian heavy industry expertise applied to military production. Training systems that anti-tank gun abundance enabled included accelerated artillery programs, adequate cannon availability for training, and systematic anti-tank development that created artillery resources sufficient for expanded military capabilities. American military education had produced anti-tank personnel through competitive instruction and merit-based advancement that exceeded traditional conservation development approaches. Manufacturing innovation that enabled American anti-tank gun success demonstrated democratic society's ability to coordinate massive artillery resources through systematic planning and competitive efficiency rather than authoritarian control. Democratic systems had produced anti-tank capabilities that exceeded totalitarian alternatives through systematic coordination, competitive innovation, and merit-based operational advancement that proved democratic advantages in industrial organization. The artillery triumph had proven that democratic industrial organization could achieve systematic advantages over traditional armored superiority through competitive innovation, systematic manufacturing, and abundant production that totalitarian tank systems could never counter through centralized control, individual craftsmanship, or authoritarian resource allocation alone in anti-tank gun manufacturing and armored warfare. If this incredible story of how American assembly line anti-tank gun production overwhelmed German armor supremacy through systematic abundance amazed you, make sure to subscribe for more tales of democratic artillery triumph.